The Cinema Soup Podcast with your host, Willy Adkins.
Gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hello and welcome to the first ever Cinema Soup Podcast. My name is Willy Adkins and I'm truly excited to launch this podcast as it's focused on one of my true passions in life, film. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about a short film called Donny and Clive, but before I get started with that, let me tell you a little bit about myself and what you can expect from future episodes of the Cinema Soup Podcast. As I said, my name is Willy Adkins and I own an independent entertainment capital called Breaking Fate Entertainment. Through my company, I produce films, film festivals, radio, book publishings, and events. Today's show is acting as a small sampling, and future episodes will be released as produced and not necessarily on any certain schedule. So you can expect to hear me review films and TV series of all kinds. This will include both features and shorts, mainstream and independent, as well as various web and TV series. I also plan to cover TV and movie news, as well as the occasional special guest. I'd love to get your comments and feedback on this and future episodes, so please like and comment on the Cinema Soup Facebook page. Cinema Soup Podcast is what you want to look for. And now, let's get on to the show. Alright, today we're going to talk about Donny and Clive. Donny and Clive is about a 12-and-a-half-minute short film. Produced by a group of lifelong friends beyond 20 years, and they're headed up by lead actors, directors, and brothers, Chris and Lo McKee, and they're based out of Brooklyn, New York. The film opens up with two guys in a car contemplating burglarizing a house, and you learn very quickly that they aren't the sharpest criminals in town, as it seems Donny has decided on the most ridiculous of houses to break into. But alas, the two make their way through the window, and the laughs roll on and on from there. As the two battle each other over Donny's absent-minded criminal plan, eventually things escalate rather quickly, and not everyone gets out without injury, and you are sure not to get out of this film yourself without crying and laughter. Now, this indie film is unrated, and does involve some adult language and drug use, weapons, and violence, stuff that I'm certainly alright with, but I thought I'd give you fair warning. It certainly doesn't make this film something you don't want to see. And this film is hilarious. It screened at my Labyrinth Comedy Fest. It took home Best Film and Best Writer for Dylan Cooper at that event. And I'm not quite sure what the future plans are for Donny and Clive beyond its current festival tour, and it's making many stops. But they do have an official website that you can check out and keep in the loop with things happening. Visit donnyandclive.com. That's DonnyandClive.com, where you can check out the teaser trailer, which is excellent, and also make contact with the filmmakers. Again, it's DonnyandClive.com. And now we check out the latest ingredients with Cinema Soup News. Alright, my very first Cinema Soup News. Today, I have an article here, and I was talking a little bit about this on Facebook with some people today, which encouraged me to do this sampling episode even. Deadline.com is reporting a Labyrinth sequel. That's right, Labyrinth. And I have seen people truly excited and truly upset by this. We'll get into a little bit of that. Let me first give you a little bit of the exclusive article here on Deadline.com. Scott Derrickson, who passed on reprising as director on Doctor Strange 2 over creative differences, has found a new fantasy franchise to take on. He has been set by TriStar Pictures to direct the sequel to Jim Henson's Labyrinth. Maggie Levin, who wrote and directed Into the Dark and My Valentine for Hulu, will write the script. The 1989 original version starred David Bowie and Jennifer Connelly, and has maintained a cult status for over 3 decades, leading to tie-in novels and comic books, video games, and even an annual fan masquerade ball, which is considered one of the largest in the world. Lisa Henson of the Jim Henson Company is producing. Brian Henson is the executive producer. In addition to directing, Derrickson is executive producing with his frequent collaborator, C. Robert Cargill. Blanca Lista, SVP of feature film production for Henson, is shepherding the project for the Jim Henson Company. Calum Allen is supervising with Nicole Brown on behalf of TriStar Pictures. So personally, I'm pretty excited about this. And I know there's a lot of mixed emotions anytime it comes to these sequels and reboots. I mean, I don't get why people think sequels and reboots are so horrible. And maybe you can provide me some comments on this yourself. By all means, visit our Facebook, Cinema Soup Podcast, and comment on there. Let us know what you think, or wherever you see this podcast. I mean, you always have your originals, right? But why not allow for a modern version of something people have always loved? I mean, people complained early on also about the It remake, saying that they will never watch it because it would never be the same without legendary actor Tim Curry, and then became surprised that they actually put something pretty amazing together with Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise. And how many Star Wars movies have been made? I mean, I never cared for Star Wars myself, but people always come back for the brand. People still see every new Child's Play or Chucky movie. People enjoy the new Dark Crystal on Netflix to throw out another Jim Henson title. I mean, it often kills me that people look to their peers constantly for approval of hate for something that they have not even had a peek at yet, simply because they have a massive love for the same brand produced decades ago. I don't understand why people are so against sequels and reboots. People love nostalgia. People want to feel that feeling of seeing something amazing, seeing characters or sets on screen that they did in their youth in modern-day vibrance. It will make big money, and those complaining will still see it, I guarantee you. So they may complain because their peers are also doing that. It's not the original. It's not David Bowie. Sure. But if you separate the sequels and reboots and remakes from the originals and look at them as standalone, I personally find that so many of them are just amazing films. And it takes me back to some, days of my youth or years past and amazing films that I've enjoyed when I was younger. So regarding the Labyrinth sequel, I'm thrilled to see that there is some Hensons involved, and I personally cannot wait to see what they do with it. So provide me your feedback. I would absolutely love to hear what you have to say. Cinema Soup Podcast on Facebook, and I do believe we have a Twitter up, so look for us on Twitter as well. So I don't have a set schedule for the Cinema Soup Podcast. It's just kind of when I get these together, I'm going to release them type thing. I'm hoping to do multiple installments a week. This is episode 1, and I'm going to have new intro music and all sorts of things being put together. So you can expect to hear a lot of changes, and I'll typically review probably 2 films in each one, as well as have some cinema news. So I hope you'll subscribe and that you've gotten a little entertainment out of today's episode. Love to hear your feedback. Let me know what you think. All about suggestions for new segments and speakers and special guests. So please look me up. I'm Willy Adkins, and this has been the Cinema Soup Podcast on Breaking Fate Radio. Cinema Soup Podcast is a product of BreakingFateRadio.com.